off-Broadway theaters. We have a main stage theater that seats 263 that is in a thrust configuration. We also have a black box theater, which depending how we configure it, because it is a space that can be set up alley or proscenium or in the round, it seats anywhere from 50 to 100 people depending on configuration. We offer in there, we have opportunities in both our scene shop and our costume shop, which are both brand new. It was an exciting move for us. It was the first time that we actually got a scene shop that wasn't right on the stage of the theater. So that's a great move for us and has offered us some really amazing opportunities. In terms of lighting, if you are interested in lighting, we have a mix of both conventional and LED lights that we use. We do use ETC boards. If you're a lighting person, that'll make sense to you. So we have those in our sewing and costume shop. We have laundry facilities. We have an area for people to take measurements and to do tailoring and adjustments. We have a large storage area that contains many costumes. And then we have a number of costumes each year that are made from scratch with the people who work in the costume shop. At Augustana, we offer a BA in theater arts, or you can do a minor in theater arts. In either one, you would choose an emphasis. Your emphasis can be performance, which is more acting, directing track, musical theater, design and technology, or theater research and history. Theater research and history is going to be our theater historians, our dramaturgs. In fact, Augustana is very unique in that for each of our productions, we assign a dramaturg, and we are one of only a small handful of institutions around the country that actually allow undergraduates to do dramaturgical work. We offer multiple and varied performance opportunities between the two theaters. And Jackie is going to talk a little bit more about what's upcoming for us in just a moment. But we also have opportunities to work and learn from theater professionals. Each year, we have somebody who comes in and works with us, whether they're a guest artist in lighting design or a scenic designer who is doing that for their work in the community, or there's someone with a big name that we bring in. Like 2 years ago, we had Sarah Rule who came to visit us. She did a playwriting workshop. She did a reading of some of her works, and we put together some scenes from plays that she had done. That was a marvelous opportunity for our students. We've had Bob Odenkirk of Better Call Saul fame. He is actually the uncle of a current student and 2 alumni. And he came and he spoke to everyone. And so we had a great question and answer about what the business is like and what you do. And then this year we were really lucky. We had Henry David Huang, who wrote Madame Butterfly, amongst other shows. And he came in and he did both a VIP event and a lecture. And then the next day did a playwriting workshop. So as much as we have a very talented faculty and staff that is there all the time, we also know that it's important for you to learn from other industry professionals and other people who can help to prepare you for what comes next when you leave Augustana. Take it away, Jackie.
All right, well, we're very excited for the season that we have planned for the next academic year. And we are going to have a variety of things. You can see we're going to be doing The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is a fantastic show. That is going to be directed by Jeff Cousins, who's the head of our department. Into the Woods is our big musical, and that will be directed by Shelley Cooper, who is our musical theater expert. And then How I Became a Pirate is what I will be directing, because I have a pretty extensive background with children's theater. So we want to give our students the opportunity to try that out, as well as then give us a chance to bring students in from the community, elementary school students, to watch the show. And then finally on the main stage, Much Ado About Nothing will be directed by Dr. Jennifer Popple, who takes care of all of our theater history and dramaturgical classes as well. So lots of good stuff coming up. And then our studio season, these are going to be, the first three that you see there are student directed shows. Students have the opportunity to apply for a show slot, and we help them choose a show that we think would challenge them and give them a good experience. So we've got Dr. Faustus, Speaking in Tongues, and Pirates of Penzance. So I don't think you could get a wider variety if you tried, really. And then last but not least, we also have the Playwrights Workshop or Festival that we give people an opportunity to send in short plays, and they are judged, and some of them are performed. This year, because we're in a very unique situation, we will be doing that virtually. So that's also something we will be trying to figure out the technology for. So this is a year of learning for everyone, really.
All right. There are other performance opportunities as well if you're part of the department. Most of these are student-run groups, but you have the opportunity. The first picture that you see is Haywire, which is our improv troupe, all student-led. Out of the Box is a sketch comedy group, so they do some longer form sketch comedy that they're presenting. Alpha Psi Omega, which is the honorary theater service fraternity. We have a very active chapter on campus that does a number of activities through the year and some really wonderful things that they give back. They do a haunted house sort of feature thing every October, and that money is given to whatever charity they have designated for the year. They do things like Shakespeare Under the Stars, where they all take sleeping blankets and sit outside and read Shakespeare. They've done poetry readings. They've done a number of things. Out of Alpha Psi, there's also another group that is sort of regrouping that's called Little Happenings, which is sort of an avant-garde performance theater-based group that will set up, and one day they decided everybody was stressed, so they told everybody, bring something with you that could make a musical instrument, and everybody gathered on the quad and everybody played their musical instruments that they brought and created an interesting tune is what we'll say. And that just was some fun and some lightheartedness. They've also been known to do things that are more for people's mental health, so that they will go around and see people and say, pick something out of the basket. And in the basket are different affirmations to remind us all that we're working hard and we're doing well at what we're doing. So they kind of are just a little dose of sunshine in your day that pops up at random times during the year. And the last opportunity that we have is every year Alpha Psi Omega produces And Then They Came For Me, which is a wonderful piece about the Holocaust that is a marriage between live theater and multimedia presentation. And so you see actual photos and videos of people in the Holocaust, and then live people who are doing things and portraying those characters. That is something that we do in conjunction with the local Jewish Federation, and we take it both to other high schools as well as doing a public performance in our main stage theater. One of the other things we're very proud of, and we now have 4 years under our belt, is the Penguin Project of the Quad Cities is housed at Augustana College. As it says in the slide, it empowers children with special needs. We don't say that they are disabled, we say they are differently abled. Penguin Project was named because penguins are birds, but they can't fly. But even though they can't fly, they're no less a bird. So our penguins get their wings when they come to work with us. They come 2 days a week and they learn one of the MTI junior scripts. Each child that is differently abled is paired with a mentor, and that mentor helps guide them through the process. If you look in some of the pictures, you can see the groups of people together with their mentors. They come in, they perform for 6 performances, which are always always sold out, because as we know, while many of our high schools and middle schools in the area try and incorporate people who are differently abled into their productions, it is hard to feature them in quite the way that the Penguin Project does. And so this has been a very successful program for us. When we started 4 years ago, we had 30 artists and mentors together. This year, when we did The Lion King, we had 96 total. And so now that we have moved that to our J term, if you're around during J term, there are opportunities for you to help with that program. It is a wonderfully endearing and really affirming program if you can be part of it. So that's another thing you can consider. Go ahead, Jackie.
Oh, all right. Now this makes me happy and sad at the same time. Because Mississippi Bend Players is the professional summer stock theater that is on Augustana's campus. But we just had to make an announcement that we are going to have to cancel the 3 shows that we had planned for this year because of COVID-19. And I do think it is the right choice, but it was a sad choice nonetheless. So Mississippi Bend Players usually does 3 performances, and they tend to have a musical, a comedy, and then something that's more of a newer piece. Sometimes they've done original pieces in the past. This year, we were very excited to present For Peter Pan on her 70th birthday, which is actually a new piece by Sarah Rule. And Sarah Rule's mother, Kathy, who the show was written for, was going to come to Augustana and perform as herself in our production. But unfortunately, we're going to have to put that off and hope that maybe we can do that again in the near future. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about coming to join us.
And Mississippi Bend Players has opportunities both as being on stage or off stage for our students. It actually is a paid internship. It is also a way that you could use your Augie choice money, which is $2,000 that the college gives you, that you can use for study abroad. You can use to pay yourself in an unpaid internship. There are many different ways to use that money, which if you are interested in that, we can get you more information about that. But there are wonderful opportunities for students to come and work alongside professionals in the field of theater during the summers as well. So we would love it if you could picture yourself at Augustana, but we know that comes along with a lot of questions. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to open up to questions. So if you have a question, if you just want to unmute yourself and ask the question, Jackie and I will answer things as best we can.
I guess, what are some of the classes that could come up with the scholarship?
Okay. If you have a scholarship in the theater arts department, you are required to take 1 theater class per year. It doesn't matter what it is. You're just required to take 1 each year to maintain your scholarship. And you are also required to do 1 practical theater experience. So that means you take 1 class and you help with 1 show. And that could be anything from I'm the soundboard op to I have a part in the show. If you're doing that, you probably will end up with a minor, because by the time you do that, you, I think, are 1 class away from the minor. So most people who have the scholarship end up going ahead and declaring the minor. Then you have that as well as whatever you're doing as your major study.
You have a couple juniors, telling them what the time frame is for scholarship auditions and how that works.
Sure. Scholarship auditions usually happen throughout the year. We do them in conjunction with the major open houses that we do in November and January. And then we usually have 1 other date. Generally that's held in March, so that it's a little later in the season, so that hopefully it doesn't conflict with speech activities or other theater productions. If you are far away, we know it is difficult to audition for a scholarship, so we do offer the option of a video scholarship audition at this time. And if that is something you are interested in, we can always get those guidelines to you as well if you can't come to campus, and you can still audition for a scholarship. Once you're on campus, we don't do any departmental scholarships, but we do have what we call the Judith Katz Memorial Scholarship. And that is a $4,000 award that is given each year to someone who is a major in theater.
And if you want to put together an audition, we usually ask you to give us a monologue or 2 monologues that are contrasting pieces, or you can do a monologue and a song if you're a musical theater sort of person. So, and it can be anything
And if that's
you feel great about.
If that's something that interests you, we can send you the guidelines and it will detail all of that for you so that you'll have it there in writing and can look at it.
Double
Yes.
majoring is something that, as long as you just have a little bit of forethought, it is very easy to do. I actually graduated from Augustana and I had a double major and a minor. So, and I still finished 4 years, no problem.
Are there any shows or plays or musicals that you have on your bucket list to do in the upcoming couple years?
Ooh. I know that Dr. Popple has talked about that in the future she would like to do Macbeth. And she would like to do from more of a dance perspective and do it with aerials and silks. So I know that's on the bucket list for us. I don't know that Shelley's talked about anything bucket list.
It seemed like there was something that she was talking about recently, but now I can't seem to bring it back to the forefront of my mind. But one of the things that Shelley likes to do is she likes to switch things up with the kind of musical that she chooses. So Into the Woods is a little bit more contemporary, but then she will pull something like How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying into it. She tries to make sure that she gives a lot of different flavors. For example, the show that they had just started rehearsing before all of this happened was Green Day's American Idiot. So totally different flavor of musical theater. And it was, man, it sounded like it was going to be awesome. I think the cast is still going to try to get together to maybe do a concert version of sorts, maybe at the beginning of next semester, because that hit us hard when we had to cancel that show.
If we look at the past few years, the musicals have been Titanic, and then Drowsy Chaperone, and then How to Succeed, and then American Idiot, and then next year will be Into the Woods. And plays, we try and do a variety of things. In the past couple of years, we've done Othello, we've done Mad Woman of Shiloh, we've done She Kills Monsters, we've done In the Next Room or the Vibrator play. We've done Crimes of the Heart. We've done Crucible. So a variety of things that you will see across the main stage. Faculty tries to get together and look at, when you graduate after 4 years, what types of shows should you have done? And we make sure we hit all those. Same thing with our Theater for Young Audiences. While a lot of those are similar in nature, we try and make sure that there's a nice difference between this one is musical and this one is non-musical in terms of Theater for Young Audiences as well.
How many international people are enrolled in the program? I mean, what's the ratio of international people to American students?
Specifically in the theater department, I don't know, but it's a growing number.
I was going to say Rachel might be able to help us out, but I know just in my introduction to theater class that I'm teaching this semester, I think I have 6 international students out of 24 students. So it's a pretty reasonable ratio in my estimation.
And also, how does it work? You said you got a double major and a minor, but how's it like? I mean, what you do, depending on, you say you can get musical theater and some other things, but how heavy is it? I mean, that's one of the big concerns that I do have, because I do want to get a double major, but what's the secret? I mean, I don't know.
The secret, I would say, is creating a plan so that you can take a look, and we will certainly, Christina can send you a whole list of all of the classes that are available, and which ones fit into the different concentrations, and what you have, because there's a certain, you have electives that you can choose to take, and then some things that you have to take in order to be a major. But as long as you just kind of mark your menu off and know what you're ordering, you can get it done. But it's kind of choose your own adventure. So if you really are interested in stage combat, have that be your elective. If you really want to find out more about how to be a director, choose one of those. So,
And each student
I wish I could just say, do this.
And each student is given an advisor. Once you declare both of your majors at the end of your freshman year, you would meet with both advisors, and the advisors work together. Most majors require some kind of capstone senior project. However, there are ways that you can work around that. Most people don't want to do 2 senior capstone projects. So we either help you find ways that you can combine both your majors to do one project that will satisfy both, or we find ways that perhaps you do the senior inquiry project for your other major, and for theater then you just take an additional 300 level class. So both of your advisors will work together to help you map out the program to ensure that you know what you have to do. My son is going to be a senior next year at Augie, and his first year there, they sat down with him and they said, this is what you want to do. This is the minor you want. And he has had a 4-year plan since that first year. And he knew exactly what he had to do in order to graduate in 4 years. And it's been very successful, and he's been able to complete everything that he wanted to do. And we work very diligently with our students because it needs to be what you want. We've had students come in and say, well, I want to do this, but I want to do more of that. And you can create what we call a contract major. And we will work with you to make sure that it answers what you're looking to do with your life. So we are here for you. We hope that you find Augustana to be a home and someplace that you want to learn. But our goal is then, once you're there, to take your dreams and the curriculum that we know that you have to have and mesh them together so that when you graduate, you have the experience that you hoped to have at Augustana. We do have work study options both in the costume shop and in the scene shop. So if you have those skills, that's a way to utilize your skills and to make some money to help you while you're on campus.
Do you guys like offer, or are you planning on offering like acting on camera or like a film type acting class?
Jackie, you want to take that one and talk about those films?
We don't have it as really part of the theater department, but we have an organization on campus called Fresh Films, and they have a lot of multimedia on camera classes that are available. And there's a lot of students who work with us and work with them. So the answer is yes, lots of things, lots of good opportunities.
That's actually one of our newest certificate programs. So you can get an entertainment and media studies certificate as part of your education, and you could pair those together. And Fresh Films puts people behind cameras so that you learn how to do other jobs if they're filming. So you can run a camera, you can be a grip, you can be editing things. They teach you all those things. There is an acting for camera sort of class in there as well. So there's a number of things you could learn from. They have a number of neat opportunities within the community where they use students to do public service announcements for nonprofits and that, so they can put those skills together. One of their classes, when they're teaching about filming and editing, they pair you with a local band that's just getting started, and you help them create their very first music video. So it's a really cool program. And when we send you stuff, I can send you information about that program as well so that you have it.
The fun part I was going to mention about Fresh Films too, they do get high school students involved. So as early as this summer, if their programs are still going due to COVID, they have a lot of summer programs as well. So you could get a jump on things and get involved with them too. So we'll make sure you get on their mailing list for that.
Mentioned like a stage combat class. and I know there's all this required curricular, but beyond like the required curricular, what are like some of your personal favorite, like kind of like not required classes that you can take under the branch of a theater major?
Oh, well, things have changed since I was a student. I know, but my favorite thing that I took that was not something that I was necessarily required because I went into performance, but some of the design classes that I took, I still remember very fondly doing lots of costume renderings and building a set model. And honestly, I think it helped me in the end because now that I'm a director, I'm able to speak with designers in a way that I don't know that I would have been able to had I not had that experience myself as a student. So that's what I have to say. And I know Ellen still does a great job teaching the costume design classes. She's so wonderful. And then Mark is one of our new team members this year, and he's had a ton of experience all over the place. So he can teach you how to build anything. He was teaching them how to build a one-legged stool when I left it before we went on, we're calling it quarantine. But he does very fun things. I think you would enjoy both.
One of my favorite things is something that we've newly added as our J-term class that we call collaborative acts. And when you take that class, you are the actors, you are the directors, you plan the set, you create your entire performance. And it depends what the theme is for that year. Each year they choose a different theme for collaborative acts. Jeff's, I think, were just 10-minute sort of classic selections.
Actually, all of the pieces that they did this year had to do with people that were differently abled. So
okay.
It's like they're like the Elephant Man was one of the pieces that they did. There was Curious Incident. One of the monologues was from that. So they did a really cool thing too, that they went around the campus and they looked at the different buildings, and they looked at the buildings from the perspective of what if I was in a wheelchair, or what if I had crutches? How would this building serve me well, and how would it maybe leave something to be desired? So they took all of the research that they did and they sent it to the Disability Services office. So I thought that was a really amazing idea.
And then that group also worked with Penguin Project afterwards.
Yes.
As run crew and costume crew and such. And I know that J-term for 2020-2021 is going to be LGBTQ pieces of theater. So depending who teaches it, you have a slightly different slant, but it's a really neat way to see all of the things that go into theater in a very short period of time.
Cool, thank you.
You are welcome. One of the questions we usually get, if you are coming to Augustana, and we will see you in the fall, during Welcome Week, we have on Sunday the Theater Arts Pizza Party. Please come to that. You will meet all sorts of people. You will meet the entire faculty and staff. You will get to have free food and drink, and you get to play some silly games and hear more about all the kinds of things we do. At that point, we'll reveal what our theater field trip will be. Every spring, we take a theater field trip and we go to some regional theater destination. We've gone to Louisville, to Actors Theater, to the Humana Festival of New Plays. We've done Chicago, we've done Minneapolis. So we take some regional theater and allow you to see the different kind of theater going on in the world. So when you go to make that leap, when you leave college, you know what kind of options there are. But one of the questions we always have is, because right after that pizza party starts our auditions for shows for the fall term. And people always want to know, if I'm coming in as a first year, do I have to wait to be on stage? And we do not ask that anyone waits. That first set of auditions, there will be first years through seniors, and everyone is allowed to audition. And Jackie and I can both attest to that every year there are first years who get cast, and get cast in principal roles. So Don't be afraid that you're the new guy on the block. That's not an issue for us. We take everybody where they are when they come into those auditions. So lots of opportunity between the studio shows and the main stages. We'll keep you busy.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? No? Then I guess we're going to toss it back to you, Rachel.
Thank you. I hope you guys got a lot of great information. Boy, there's some really amazing things happening in the theater department. I love hearing all about all the shows and how y'all could play a role in that next year or the year after. So we're really excited that you could join us today. And hopefully you learned a lot more than you knew previously about theater. Our opportunity here to talk with theater, and we thank you guys for coming.